Hello, everyone. Hello, folks. Hello to wherever you are. This is another interview episode and on my channel, Angelo Lorenzo. And in this session, I am very proud and very grateful to receive an acceptance from my invitation with Monique Hebert. She's a playwright, an author, and also a mental health advocate from the United States. And yeah, your Monique's plays have been staged and performed at various theater venues across the United States. And her full-length play, The Goodbye Letter, will be performed at the culmination of this year's Talking It Out, a virtual festival in support of mental health awareness. So I'll give it to Monique to further introduce herself and to explain more about her projects.
Yes, well, first, thank you for having me on your show. I'm so excited to get the invitation and to be able to talk to you about playwriting. Yeah, so I am a playwright that currently lives in the Seattle, Washington area on the West Coast. And my latest play, The Goodbye Letter, like you said, is going to have a production on July 16th, which I'm really excited about, in the Talking It Out Festival, which I had a short play in about a year and a half ago in the fall. And so I'm really excited to be able to present another work surrounding mental health. And it's such an important topic and one that I am so passionate about advocating for. So being able to be a part of this festival it's so incredible. I'm so thankful.
Yeah, it's very great, Monique. And first of all, congratulations on your prestigious achievements, and we're definitely looking forward to your full-length play. So my first question, Monique, would be, what drew you to the themes of mental health awareness and incorporating these themes in your accomplished works?
Yeah, so mental health has always been something that has affected me in my life. Like, I've struggled with anxiety and depression a lot growing up. And theater and writing were always outlets for me to kind of express how I was feeling. And so I started writing actually some plays off of a therapy session that I had, just kind of getting through some of my thoughts and feelings to get them out there. And then I realized that I could use my voice and my platform and my writing to spread mental health awareness to more people. And so because it's something that I know that has affected me, I know how much it affects other people as well. And to be able to shine the spotlight and let people know about how other people are feeling and make them feel not as alone was something that was really important to me to do with my playwriting.
Yeah, I can totally relate with the anxiety and depression phase, because during my teenage years, I was also like a bit bullied in high school. So I had those moments when I was anxious to go to school because I was scared of what those bullies would do to me. But it's really important that we reach out to the people who actually care, and I believe that you're doing that with your plays. You're raising awareness with you're raising conversations about how important it is to acknowledge that we are not alone in this struggle, and we are not alone in this journey. So I'm very grateful and I really appreciate what you do. So yeah, going to your career as a playwright, Monique, what drew you to the genre of playwriting itself? At what age did you start to really get interested in writing plays and trying it out?
Yeah, when I was younger, I was always drawn to theater. To be able to go and see a play or a musical and have it live right in front of you always really attracted me to that. It's like the sensation you get being in the room as something is happening. And so I loved theater through high school and college, and I studied English, but I never really thought that I would get into playwriting, because growing up, I didn't see a lot of playwrights of color. And so I thought that, maybe that's not something for me to do. But then I moved where I was living in the Midwest to the West Coast and was able to see playwrights who looked like me and who were able to express themselves through their writing. And so that's the first time that I actually started writing plays and using my voice in this medium. And it filled me up. It made me so happy to be able to then provide that representation for the next generation of playwriters and theater makers of color that maybe didn't see themselves represented before.
Right, and it's really grateful. It's really amazing that you advocate for the narratives and the
Yeah.
realities and experiences of people of color, because these days these stories are very relevant to us.
Yeah.
When I also like submitted my play for the Talking It Out Festival, I was really proud to get
Mhm.
accepted, because for the information of our viewers, I'm not really based in the States. I'm based in the Philippines, and it's rare for a writer, a certain playwright,
Mhm.
to have our works seen and celebrated in United States platform.
Mhm.
And it's really it's uplifting about what you do
Yep.
to people of color as well. So what are some of the current realities, Monique, that are integrated in your plays that explore the themes and narratives of people of color in general?
Yeah, so I was working on a musical that was
Mm-hmm.
about police brutality. And so there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of themes that kind of overarch with that as well. I've written a lot about mental health in the Black community, especially, and trying to just raise awareness with that. So
Mm-hmm.
anytime I can kind of cross those themes together, to be able to advocate for people of color and show some of those realities are really important for me to get to do.
Right. Yeah, that's amazing. And in the last few years, we have seen the news about the harsh realities of communities that have been affected and victimized and oppressed by police brutality, and it's really an alarming issue, because if it can happen anywhere in the world, then it can happen
Mhm.
to anywhere else where that would also directly affect us. In the Philippines as well, there has also been abuses committed
Mhm.
by law enforcers, where they, abuse their dominance, their authority to oppress other people who are defenseless.
Right.
And that is happening as well in the United States, in terms of racial, like the biases, and that's
Yep.
something that we need to address and to like be open about, so that it will be addressed immediately. So among all your works, Monique, what are some of the most memorable writing experiences that you went through in writing them?
Yeah. So the first short play I had in the Talking It Out Play Festival is called The Mean Girl and the Best Friend. And that
Mm-hmm.
was one of the examples that I used of one that was just a therapy session. And so the play is just basically about a woman who has these voices in her head, a voice that's really mean to her and tells her bad things
Mm-hmm.
about herself, and then a voice that's really nice and tries to comfort her. And so to be able to see something that like I wrote as I was struggling and going through therapy and dealing with my own things, to be able to see that like come full circle and be in a
Mm-hmm.
festival specifically for mental health. And a lot of people that saw it told me after, like, oh my goodness, I could relate to that so much. And like, I just saw myself in what you wrote, was just like
Mm-hmm.
such a like mind-blowing experience for me, because, I wrote it having such a personal experience, and just see it
Yeah.
be able to spread and have, I know that other people felt like that, was just really, it was really moving.
That's amazing. So, what year again was that when you were when your play
I
was
want to
chosen for
say that was the
perform?
first year it was done. So I want to say it was about November 2019.
Oh, it's still relatively new.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
amazing. So yeah,
Hmm.
like most artworks, they're the place that I mean the artworks that have the most relevance are those that
Hmm.
are like coming from our personal experiences. So that's
Yeah.
amazing. How personal is the goodbye letter for you?
Yeah, the goodbye letter was definitely coming out of my struggles with depression and suicide, specifically in
Mm-hmm.
my like early college years. It was really kind of born out of the experiences I had.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really interesting to write the goodbye letter and to kind of get into like a teenage mindset of what it was like dealing with these things and not seeing a way out of a situation. So it
Mm-hmm.
definitely mirrors a lot of things that I had been through in my late teens, like early college years. So a lot
Mm-hmm.
of me is in it. But it's a story that I hope also will be very relatable and universal, and a lot of people can
Yeah.
see themselves in it, or somebody that they know, and get help and talk about things that they're dealing with.
Right. And it's important as well, the work itself, the theme that you
Mm,
incorporated based on personal experience.
yeah.
So relating to that, Monique, I would like to ask also, like, how are you now generally? Like, you've been through those phases I wouldn't call it phases
Yeah.
because, it's kind of like also a reality for most of us, or
Yeah.
we're most of us are probably still going through it. But how are you currently at this point?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. I like how you put it, because I think a lot of times, all of us are still struggling with so much, and especially during the
Yes.
pandemic, like going through
Mm-hmm.
that added a whole nother layer.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think the best thing I can say is that I've learned how to manage anxiety and depression to be able to be more successful with,
Mm-hmm.
with life and just going about things. And so I think I'm doing really well in that I've been able
Yeah.
to kind of manage that. But
Mm-hmm.
I definitely say that it's something that still is a daily struggle. And some
Yeah.
days are worse than others, and it kind of just depends on what's going on. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
really proud of myself and how far I've come in my mental health journey.
Yeah, and also include me to be the person who is also
Yeah.
proud of you, to the
Yes.
people like who are proud of you. Because so yeah, for the information of our viewers as well, Monique and I got connected through the festival,
Mhm.
because my play was also chosen to be performed like earlier in
Yeah.
March this year. And although it is a one act play, but yeah, we got to have that opportunity to have our plays presented and performed. So thank you so much talking it out. And also shout out to Anthony Piccioni, who is the
Yes.
one who accepted our plays and reached out to us. So thank you so much. So yeah, Monique, what are your hobbies these days? Like, can you tell us more about, like, aside from writing relevant works, what are some of the things that you enjoy doing?
Yeah, besides writing, which is so huge, I really love reading. Anytime I can,
Mhm.
get my head in a good book, I always love that. Really into movies and TV. I'm actually getting my master's now in film and media studies. So I
Wow.
spend a lot of time analyzing film and looking at screenwriting and things like that. I
Mhm.
also took up knitting during the pandemic, and so that was a
Oh, that's
fun little
amazing.
skill to learn to kind of keep me busy. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Which authors or playwrights do you look up to?
Oh, that's a really good question. I know I also really like children's book series for some
Mhm.
reason. I think because I loved them as a kid and I love to come back to them as adults. And I also have written a children's book series.
Oh,
So
that's
I think a lot
amazing.
of series like the Percy Jackson series, I was into Harry Potter a lot, the Chronicles of Narnia. So those kind of
Yes.
things are
Mhm.
really influential on me. And so I love things like that. And
Mhm.
there's so many screenwriters, it's hard to even think off the top of my head like which ones are my favorite. But I love all kind of genres of film, and so that's been really interesting in my classes to be able to dive into them.
Right. Maybe someday that they will reach out to you and also
Yeah.
recognize your works as well, because I know that if your works have really definitely have that potential to go far, and it's really
Thank you.
amazing to be it's an honoring experience to be able to connect with you and to receive your acceptance for this invitation to interview. So yeah, Monique, aside from your hobbies, what are your dreams? Like I know that you're doing well with literature in general, with
Mhm.
playwriting. What are some things that you also look forward to in life?
Yeah, I think on the career side of things, I want
Mm-hmm.
to just be able to, like I said, kind of my dream is to provide representation for people of color in
Mm-hmm.
theater and also in film, and maybe transition a little bit into screenwriting. I
Yeah.
think right now my dream is finishing college.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be done in December at the end of this year, so that's really exciting. And I have a lot of nieces and nephews that are really young now, and so I think a dream of mine is to be able to be like an inspiration to them and to get them to
Yeah.
see that their auntie is out there, living
Mm-hmm.
her life, writing and expressing herself, and so that one day they can follow whatever dream they want to in life as
Right.
well.
And that's definitely something that they can also like emulate from you,
Yes.
being a person who went far and who achieved great things. So yeah, so last question, Monique, would probably be, what is your message to playwrights who are basically like us, who have had probably like uh, less opportunities in life when it comes to the general situation of things, where privilege was not really directed to us at birth,
Right.
but we had to work twice as hard to get to where we are now. What is your message to playwrights of color, neurodivergent playwrights, and all playwrights who have been or not just playwrights, artists in general who
Yeah.
have been marginalized in the past?
Yeah, that's a really great question to end on. I would say first and foremost, don't give up. And it sounds very cliche, and I know it's really hard at times, but I know that there was moments when I wanted to give up writing, and there are still moments where I think, you know what, this is not for me. I want to go do something else. But just staying persistent and just continuing to put your work out there is really important. I know when I first started, it was really hard getting rejection letters after rejection letters. And so I took it personal, and it was always just so painful. And so I think also learning to like move through that is really important, and trying to seek out opportunities and other playwrights, like the connection that we have to be able to talk to other people that are also have been in your shoes, and that could give great advice about how they ended up where they are. And just making time to write, I would say, is also really important for playwrights. I know that there's times when I have to force myself to sit down and crank something out. And so having that space for me is always really important, to be able to write and kind of express myself. But yeah, I think my biggest one is still just like keep trying and think about, the impact that you could make one day. Like, I think I continue to tell myself, like, if I can impact one person and I can show one person that they can do this, or that my work can touch one person in a way that really sits with them the way that my favorite playwrights have, done that for me, then, it's all worth it. So I try to remember that and keep that thought going as I'm having my rough days.
Right.
So yeah.
Thank you so much, Monique. And definitely, you are an inspiration to a lot of people, especially to people of color, people of, neurodiverse people, and people who have been through a lot. Because once they see you getting out there, reaching far, then they have that hope for themselves that they can do it too. So thank you so much. And for our viewers out there, I will be putting out the links to Talking It Out Festival to promote the full length play of Monique, which will be performed in July, and as well as Monique's official website and social media pages. Thank you so much, Monique, and have a great day, everyone.
Bye.